Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Knife Chats with Tobias.
Welcome back to my look at the new generation of Rough Ryder StoneWorx knives. Now, you may not be able to tell this right away, but this is a much smaller box than what you normally see them show up in. If you remember, the lady leg knife also was in a small box because it was a small pattern knife. And this is the second of 3 small pattern knives in the StoneWorks series, at least with this new generation of 12. Now, if there's more knives in the new generation, who knows? But this one is the small toothpick or tiny toothpick. Let's get it out of the box here. And you see it right there. Very pretty knife. And this is also the third tiny toothpick that has come out in a StoneWorks lineup. The first release of Rough Ryder StoneWorks knives had this one in it. This is the RR2417, and you see the difference in the way the stones are laid out. Obviously the same basic knife, the difference being you have different bolsters and a different powder horn down here. And then the stones are laid out differently. You have the bloody basin jasper, the blue turquoise, the white mother of pearl, the black lip mother of pearl, the bloody basin or red jasper, and then the blue StoneWorx, and that is repeated on the opposite side. That was the first one that came out. Like I said, this is the third, I believe, and this is the one that came out in the middle or later. And you see you have white mother of pearl on the outside, followed by the red jasper, and then you've got black lip mother of pearl and a little piece of abalone accent in the middle there, and that is repeated on the opposite side. Now, both of these knives are still readily available on eBay and almost at the asking list price that they first came out at. And I think the reason for that is that I believe both of these have been released on more than one occasion over the years. So this was the first one that came out, the 916. I did not give the number for this one. What is this? This is the 1420. So about mid-production between the two of these run. This one just came out. And I think, I'm not 100% sure, but you might be able to find these out there without the blade etch. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they all showed up with a blade etch or not, but I do know that both of these are still readily available, which is different than many of the other StoneWorks knives. Most of the older StoneWorks knives, a lot of them you just can't find, but these two are still available, and it's because the tiny toothpick is probably one of the most collected tiny patterns of knives out there, and Rough Ryder has made a lot of small toothpicks, and so I would not doubt that these have gone through more than one run, and so they're going to be much more readily available. In any case, it means that you can find any of these 3 at the current moment. But let's look at the most recent one, and that is this one, and you will notice that there is a big difference because now you have the malachite in there as well. So you have the red stone on the outside, the imitation malachite, and then white mother of pearl, and then in the center you have the abalone accent, the pinch bolster at the top, and the triple ringed powder horn at the bottom. And what I've noticed is, as you can tell here, notice the powder horn, the rings on there versus the earlier powder horn rings, which were much more delicate. So they're cutting them a lot deeper and a lot wider than they used to. I kind of like the thinner rings, but anyway, both of them are nice. This build is really good. You can see there is a, if you want to call that a gap, that's a gap. But really smooth. The stones are well set, as all the other ones have been as well. And the action is what you expect in a small toothpick. The pull is not strong on a small toothpick. It's a small blade. It's got a weak back spring because, quite frankly, The thinner the back spring, the less the pull is going to be. And when you have a knife that is this slim and a back spring that is that small, you're not going to have the strongest pull. I would give the pull on this thing about a 4. And the only reason it's a 4 is because of the size of the blade. But it is easy to get to the blade, and it is easy to open it. And you got the really long Turkish clip going on there. And I tell you what, Rough Ryder has been making a lot of tiny toothpicks over the years, so they know what they're doing with them. You do have the very long swedge there, and the swedge actually is right up into the nail nick here, but you still have enough to purchase it. It would have been better if there was no swedge. That's my own personal opinion, and also from just grabbing the different knives. This one is easier to open. Also, I find the knives easier to open, or easier to open the entire way without the half stop. I wish they would not have put a half stop on the tiny toothpick. I know a lot of other people are really going to like it. And I think this is the first one that shows up with the half stop. Yeah, this one also is no swedge yet. But you know, that's what Rough Ryder has done. They have decided to put swedges on all their knives, and they have pushed for the half stop on a lot of knives, and it is very popular. So I can't complain about it too much, because while it is not my preference, I'm really more or less indifferent to it, with the exception of the swedge. I don't think the swedge should be on a blade this small, but we'll see if that changes over time. You do have the typical, ring on the top bolster and the pinch. I think I mentioned that already. That is what they're doing with the with most of the Rough Ryder knives these days, is the pinched bolster and the single ring. They dispense with putting the big R on there. Yes, they actually put big R's on these little tiny toothpicks. I have not picked up any like that, but I might pick up the StoneWorx Malachite toothpick, because it seems like I have this love-hate relationship with the tiny toothpicks. I don't find them the most useful knife in the world, despite having done a video that showed that they are more capable than you think. And I will link over to that. It was using this knife where I actually tested it, how well these knives can actually cut. And there's also another video out there where somebody actually opens up a can of fruit or vegetables or something with one of these knives, and actually poke a hole through a can and then rip open a can using this blade. So the blade is more useful than you think. It is really a nice looking fifth pocket knife, and it is probably the most collected of the tiny patterns, the tiny toothpick. Case pushes it very hard. Frost knives, man, they turn out all sorts of tiny toothpicks. And Rough Ryder does a really good job at turning out tiny toothpicks. And so far what I have is ones that, primarily the ones I have in the Rough Ryder lineup of tiny toothpicks are the ones that have that Southwest feel. So this is the latest in the StoneWorx ones. What did I give the number on that? It is 2417. And then the other two StoneWorx knives, let's go in reverse order. This is the most recent. This one is in the middle point, and this was the first one that came out. I also have, like I just showed you, the copper stone. I throw that in with it because, well, you've got the veins going in there, and they did a really good job on this. I think it looks great when you polish it all up. I know other people prefer it to be tarnished. They have an anodized carbon or anodized copper coating on the blade. And like I said, I put this through some paces, and the copper coating held up quite well too. You can see a few scratches on there, but it actually held up quite well despite whittling, cutting up rubber hoses and other things of that nature. Another one that is still readily available is the Southwest small toothpick, and this one has it's the old Southwest, I believe. It's got the blade edge going on there, the old Southwest. I believe this was an Andy Armstrong design. They had some issues with this one. I think they still do. You have the little blue turquoise there for an accent, which beats the snot out of the big R. And then you've got a little piece of turquoise there and a little piece of turquoise here and a little piece of turquoise there. And then the red and white here. I don't know if that's pearl or not. The problem with these knives that most people have mentioned is that the black enamel wears off as you use it, and you can kind of see that happening right there and there. So the more you use it, the more you're going to lose the black enamel on there. And then all of these though are still readily available, especially this one. It just came out, but the next one is not so available, and I wish it would show back up. And that's the Brian Yellowhorse Arrowhead one, and this was with the bumpy turquoise. I think I've shown all these before. In any case, this was in the Arrowhead series by Brian Yellowhorse, and I think also I think Brian Wilhoit helped design the boxes for it. But that's my lineup of tiny toothpicks that kind of represent the old Southwest feel. But the latest one is right here, and it's a pretty cool one. I actually like the way the malachite is set apart there, and I also like the way the stones are laid out on this one. I think these stones look better than the other stones that have been used, and it's nice to see one that is not done in red, white, and blue. So the green there kind of makes it look a little good. I kind of like that one. So this is a place where the malachite actually works as far as I'm concerned. But there you go. There is the latest of the tiny toothpicks in the StoneWorx series.
Let me take just a second to thank you once again for dropping by and spending a few minutes here at Knife Chats with the Pious. I really do appreciate it, and I do appreciate any comments that you leave. So please remember to give me that thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll know when the next episode is up and running. Thanks again for dropping by. Really do appreciate your time here.